What is up, guys? It's Jimbo here and welcome back to another video. Whilst the past week I've been trying to survive my own personal white mechanic being very ill, I have been playing a whole bunch of Destiny 2 and I'm 100% torn on the game right now. There's a lot of good and there's also a lot of bad, and the future of the game is swirling everywhere. So this is a more of a non-highly edited video. I wanted to be a little bit more real and talk about the game, talk about some thoughts, because there was a lot of good this season and there's also a lot of bad and things that are just kind of trying to be swept under the rug and just because of a new season. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the good first. The season activity slash the main activity, the coil, is awesome. It's got a lot of loot. It's got the roguelike elements that we've had in the last 3 seasons, and on the whole, the activities that we've had the last 3 seasons have been fantastic. The issue is the loot. The loot is either boring or uninspired, or it is going sideways, as in it's not really progressing the game forward, and we haven't got any form of like power creep, so there's no reason to get the weapons over what you have unless you are slot filling, i.e. you need a strand fusion rifle or a strand slug shotgun and you don't go into the raid. There's a lot of these things there, and I don't think that the loot is pushing us forward, which means that I don't really have any aspiration to play, because apart from getting the crafting, patterns for specific weapons, there's a lot of weapons that are added to the game, but if they're not better than what I already have, then what are we going to do? And also, that kind of plays into a bigger topic, which is to do with sunsetting and the whole thing that the community has been kind of hinting towards, at least some areas of the community, about the loot in the game. But let's talk about some other good and not the bad. The season aesthetic is good. I like that we're getting the 15th wish. I like that we're kind of leading into the final shape with the wish, and it's kind of cool that we were potentially going to be using the 15th wish to go into the Traveler and go into the area where the Witness is. It seems rather fitting after having the 15th wish dangled above us for so long, and now it is coming into fruition. I think the armor set is pretty good that we have, especially the ornaments as well. I also like the aesthetic of the coil and the seasonal activities, and the weapon design is actually really cool as well. I quite like what we have, and there's a couple of new perks in there, but that kind of goes back into what we were talking about with the loot. Another part of this season is the dungeon, even though it's part of like the dungeon pass thing, and for me, I think this is one of the best dungeons that Bungie's made. I've already soloed it. I've already done a whole bunch of the triumphs. I've already completed it God knows how many times over the weekend during the launch of the dungeon, and I really enjoy it. I like the aesthetic. The loot could be better, but there is a couple of different weapons in there that are just kind of slot filling once again, but there is a new rocket propelled pistol sidearm type deal, and that's really cool as well. Really enjoyed the dungeon. It's the right balance, I think, of the difficulty for Ghosts of the Deep, and then also things such as duality. I don't think it's as hard as a couple of the other dungeons, but I definitely think that it is going to be one of the most memorable, and if it was anything other than what we have with the aesthetic, the medieval like Dark Souls aesthetic I've seen people talk about, then obviously that is good. If I was originally thinking it was going to be something to do with Siva, but that's just me. But Scorn, Ahamkara, 3 bosses, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed the dungeon. And generally on the whole, when it comes to Destiny, there's nothing inherently bad about the gameplay, the overall loop of getting loot and stuff like that. A lot of it is more player motivated. It's down to me, and I don't think that is what it should be. I think that the game should offer something that we want to go and chase, but maybe because I've played so many hours of the game at this point, over like 4,000 hours, it's like, am I really the player that Bungie are catering towards now? Which I think is kind of a bad thing. I think they need to cater to a lot of different players, but I digress. The main thing for me, which I'm going to do a full video on, is build crafting. Right now, build crafting is essentially dead for me in Destiny 2. It's been gutted since we had the loadout 2.0, build crafting 2.0. There's a lot of issues with the mods and stuff that I have, like a lot of really big points that I don't want to delve too much into in this video. But once again, we've gone sideways when it comes to build crafting. There's not a lot of depth. It's as wide because of a lot of things that you can use, but the depth is really shallow, and I'll talk about more of that in a separate video. But yeah, build crafting is the main reason I like to play, and sadly it's not up to scratch in Destiny 2 right now. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the game before I kind of end on the note of Bungie is monetization. Monetization in this game is becoming rampant, and it is really like nickel and diming the player base, and I think it's awful. We had the drama over the starter pack that was released and that was taken down from the store. There's a lot of these packs on the store right now which are very egregious, essentially pay to win at this point, and aimed at unsuspecting players that may think it's a good deal when it's absolutely not. We did just have a sale for all of the old expansions, but I think that some of the old expansions should be reduced in price, maybe back a year. So Lightfall should be still full price, Witch Queen could be reduced a bit, but like Shadowkeep, like no one's really playing Shadowkeep content realistically, apart from some of the dungeon stuff that's in there. But realistically, why are we charging like 30 to 40 for Shadowkeep and then like Beyond Light as well? It's just kind of not great look, Bungie, and I think they there's a reason they didn't hit their 45% overestimation, is because they're just trying to shove monetization down the players' throats, and people don't want to buy it. They do bring out some really cool sets. The value for money, if I want to talk about season pass stuff, is still very good. The dungeon pass, I think, is also pretty good. It could be included into a regular version of the expansion, but that's another topic for another day. But yeah, they need to fix this. So this kind of brings us into a roundabout way about Destiny as a whole, and also Bungie. My feelings towards Destiny, the game, is there's a lot of devs that are still trying to make this game the best it can be. They always will make some of the best experiences in first-person shooters. I still will always hold that opinion. I also feel like the gameplay is also still one of the best out there, and I still feel that it's one of the most unique games still out there that's adding more elements. And at this point, we're in year 7 of Destiny 2, so iterating too much without it just basically having a new game, which they haven't done for a while, it is a big undertaking. And then with Marathon down the line, which goes into the Bungie, it kind of just feels like we're on a track at the moment, and we're just moving forward and forward and forward and on a treadmill, and we're just staying in one place, and we're not really going forward too much. There's a couple of little carrots here and there that are thrown in for Destiny, but apart from that, now Bungie, I have lost a lot of trust in. Yes, Bungie make the game, but the recent layoff of all of their staff is an awful thing for a lot of people, and I also feel like Bungie is trying to set their stakes way too high for the realistic expectations. Some of the management has been awful, it seems, from all of the different stories that I have read and things that I've seen online. Obviously, take that with a pinch of salt. And I also feel like Bungie is not the same Bungie we had when they left Activision. I have seen people talk about, oh, why would they move away from Activision and Vicarious Visions? Because also the amount of content that they were producing at that time was a lot, and it was a very much like over expectations. We had like a raid every 3 months, which was ridiculous when it came to being able to put out that much content. It's a very, very hard thing to keep up with, so I do have sympathy there when it comes to the devs. But reducing the quality of the game, as it seems, things are being put in place to stop players from or devs improving the game, and basically saying it's not going to make us money, so why are we not improving the game to make more money? And that's the main thing, leads into the monetization and a big swirling thing as well. And that's how I currently feel. at this moment in time when it comes to Destiny. And I wanted to make this video because I haven't talked about it in a little bit. I've enjoyed whatever I've played of the seasons for the most part, and I just take a little bit of a break and I focus on other things when it comes to other games. And I'm once again, the same issues occur with Destiny and the same issues occur with Bungie, and unless I see some radical change, I'm just gonna be there along for the ride. I'll still play the game, I'll still check out any of the new content because I still love the game, but I'm not really as hardcore and dedicated as much anymore because they've lost my trust, and they've lost a lot of trust of a lot of my friends as well that have been playing the game, a lot of other creators, and a lot of the community as well. But little impromptu video for the day. Hopefully you've just watched this. There's nothing specific on in the background. It's just some random gameplay that I've put over it because I wanted to get a video because I've been ill and I haven't made a video for over a week. So yeah, so stay tuned for more content on the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing and watching any of my content. Stay tuned for more content going into the new year and into 2024. And GTA 6 trailer is soon, so maybe we'll do something about that in like a day or two, whatever it is. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, guys. This has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.